So I'm going to show you how I use the Wacom Tablet in Blackboard Collaborate. So you can see I have multiple monitors, which makes it a little interesting sometimes to do it. But basically what I do is I take the Blackboard Collaborate and I am just going to drag it down to my Wacom board. And then maybe I want to enlarge it, make it fill up the whole page. And then from there, I can pick what I want to do. So maybe I'm going to open this little options to see what I have. And let's say that we wanted to start with a blank whiteboard. So I'm just going to go to whiteboard. And you can see it opened one up. Now I'm probably going to get rid of this for now because it takes up some of my room and I don't want to do that. I would like to have a little bit more room. And then you can use these buttons over here. And it'll say fit page, which doesn't look like it did anything. And then you can also click fit width, and you will see that that became wider. Another thing you can do is get rid of this part at the bottom. So I'm just going to X out of that, and you'll see I have more of the board now. Then to use the pen, let me get rid of this. To use the pen, I'm going to just click on the pen, and drawing is the best to pick. Brush comes out really thick, so I'm just going to hit drawing. And it will take up this little bit at the top that you're not going to be able to write with. So if you did have something on the screen there, like something pre-printed, be careful with that. But now I can just say, here's my colors, and the colors come off of the paintbrush. So if you don't like that color, you can pick a different color, and then you can write. So let's say I had f of x equals like x squared plus 3. So this is just a whiteboard, so I can write on it. You can erase if you need to erase. That stuff will come up. It does take a little planning for space, and notice though that there is this scroll bar. So if you need a little bit more room, you could scroll down, and then you can see that part is going away. So kind of nice, you can move that around a little. There is a problem that though it's just one whiteboard. So it's like if you were in a classroom, you have the whiteboard, right? And that's all the space that you have. So there might be a little planning that you have to do with that, meaning you would have to erase and then write some more, erase and write some more, just like old school, like if you're in the classroom. To erase the whole board at once, there's this trash can at the top. I'm going to click on it and it will give you a little warning. It says, hey, it's going to clear everything. Is that okay? And you can say yes or no. Because of that, because it's only one page at a time, maybe that's not my go-to for what to do. If I want to have a bunch of pages that don't get erased, instead I would import some blank pages, and let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to click this open, and I'm going to say share files, and then I'm going to say add files. And then I have to look through my files. So ahead of time, I made this 20 pages and it's a PDF, but what that does is just 20 blank pages. And that way I don't have to erase. I have a document that I can continue to write on. So I'll show you what that looks like. So here there's 20 pages. If I click on it, I have to share now. It says select a slide to begin. So they're all blank, but it will load this. And notice I have page after page after page that is blank. So I have plenty of pages to write on, and again I can go up here and say fit the width. So now I'm taking up the whole screen, but notice if I go back, let's fit the width on here and write on, let's say, it is weird, you have to hit the little pen every time. So let's hit the pen. I'm just going to draw this as number 1, and then watch, I can click 2. Here's number 2. Right, so I can go back and forth and I'm not losing my pages. So it'll take a little practice to figure out how big to write, how you want to use it, but this is a good choice if you want to use a whiteboard. This is how I would use the Wacom board for that. But again, I think it would be best to kind of fit the width so you have plenty of space to write, and then you can just kind of move up and down to give yourself more space. But then you can zoom in or you can zoom out. So if you wanted to see everything, you could do it that way. What I tend to do instead is to bring in PowerPoint. So I'm going to go back to my sharing, and I have a couple in here. So I'm just going to click on one of them. Notice I have to activate it, so it has to turn black, and then I click on it. And then it will say like click on the first slide. So I'm clicking on the slide and it pops over. So this is how I typically am teaching, is I'm clicking on PowerPoint. So that works for me. That way I don't have to write as much. It really helps me for clarity. But you can see I give myself space to write in there. So like I click on the pen, so now I can draw on this, and this one's about doing a function p, so I can write that the function p is 35x plus 185, right? So I have room to write it. Now, depending on how complicated your class is, you may need more room than that. So this is just for a basic class that there's not a lot to write, but you can tell I give myself more space in some of them and less space in others. It depends on what the problem is. You do have to click every time that pen to get it to work, right? So that'll take a little getting used to activate the pen, activate the pen, activate the pen. But it is nice that when you're writing things down, and I'm just going to write some stuff that doesn't make any sense, I can change colors. So if I want to click on the pen and say, hey, let's use a different color, that is kind of nice, because then I can highlight something. So the pen color will come up over here. I can say, like, maybe I want to do green, so I can circle this in green and just, maybe slice something out if I want to, but it does give me some tools to use. And I don't have to use any other programs, so I'm not using Bamboo or anything with it. So I did only have to download this, the Wacom download. I don't have any other apps that go along with this. That's the only thing that I ever downloaded to use it. So nothing additional. I'm not using this in combination with anything else except the Collaborate. You still have the opportunity to move back and forth between your different tools like you do normally. So just because I'm on the Wacom tablet doesn't change anything. So if I want to go back and I just want to share my regular screen, I can still do that. I could go back to plain whiteboard also. I could share my camera if I want. So all the same functionality that you have before, just maybe this nice place to write. Students love being able to see what you're doing, and every step that you can show is so helpful to them. Hope this helps.